Hello and welcome to the orientation webinar for volunteers at the 2018 PBIS Leadership Forum. My name is Gretchen Hess and I'm working as the volunteer coordinator for the conference. I've been communicating with you over email the last few months and I've collected all your information. We put together a schedule which I hope you'll find to be fair and balanced and still gives you time to network and enjoy the conference. Please note my phone number and email address on this slide. You can contact me either way throughout the conference. Because I'll be tackling issues here and there, texting is probably better than calling. If you are assigned the role of keynote usher or session facilitator, be sure to enter my number into your phone contacts. More on that later. Before going any further, I want to express our gratitude for your willingness to help. It takes many people to work together to pull off an event like this, and we honestly could not do it without you. Your role is so important, and we want you to know how much you are appreciated. I do hope you'll find volunteering enjoyable and will consider joining us in the future. If you have any feedback you'd like to share to help us to continue to improve this experience, please let me know. So in today's webinar, I'll provide you with information on volunteering, and this will be especially important for those scheduled to work on Wednesday before the orientation at the conference. This information does not replace the Wednesday evening orientation meeting, though, so please be sure to attend the meeting from 7 to 8 in the Williford Room at the Hilton Chicago. There we will again review assignments and provide the most up-to-date information. And also at that meeting, you'll have an opportunity to swap assignments with other volunteers if you wish to do so. Summaries of the information I'll share today and the discussions at the orientation meeting will be found in the volunteer handout, which we'll have available at the orientation. The first page of the handout provides you with important logistics, maps of the facility, and information on who to contact, Wi-Fi password, access to the mobile app. Your main point of contact as a volunteer throughout the conference would be me, and I'll mainly be near the information desk throughout the conference. You can also get questions answered by Cheryl and Eileen, and they'll also be around the information desk. Brian Meyer, who you'll meet at the on-site orientation, can provide assistance, and you notice that other staff have a green ribbon on their badge, and while you're out and about, I'm sure any of them could point you in the right direction as well. For technology questions and issues, look for Doug, and when not tracking down issues, he'll be near the information desk. We'll also have a lot of AV support throughout the meeting space, and if you're facilitating a session and you need support, you can talk to the AV staff directly. Oops. The Wi-Fi and mobile app information is also on the first page of the handout, and attendees will connect to the Hilton Chicago Meeting Network with the password PBIS 2018, and they can download the mobile app from the App Store or Google Play. And for those not using an Apple or Android device, they can access the content of the app from the internet with the link shown in the handout. You'll also notice that the handout contains maps of the hotel, and the ballrooms and breakout rooms are marked. Breakout rooms are spread out on different floors, so we expect some of the attendees will need help here and there to get where they need to be. You could be helpful to them if you take some time when you arrive at the hotel to familiarize yourself with the location of the breakout rooms and the pathways to get there. We especially encourage this for those of you working registration Thursday morning or at the information desk really anytime throughout the conference. Being available to this large group of attendees that we have this year is really key to volunteering. Which leads me to a very important point. As the volunteer at the conference, you're a member of our team and represent the conference just as we, the staff, do. So anything you can do to make the conference experience smooth and enjoyable for all participants is very much appreciated. Now on to the assignments. The first I'll talk about is registration check-in. The main time this will be happening is throughout the day on Wednesday and first thing Thursday morning. We expect about a third of our attendees will check in at some point on Wednesday, but most all the rest will check in during a 1.5 hour window on Thursday morning. There'll be a few after that, but the real push to check in will occur very early. We are a little cramped in space in the registration area, since everyone will be coming through that space to get to the ballroom for the keynote session. So we really need to keep everyone moving and prevent lines from building. Let me talk about the details of registration and checking in. Registration check-in is a 3-step process. Attendees will check in themselves on the computer, then they'll find their name tag, and then they'll pick up their conference materials. We'll have volunteers staffing each of these 3 areas, and we hope that you can guide people to where they need to be. You may be asked if attendees can check in their colleagues. It's not a problem, as many are attending as a group, but we do ask them that they let their colleagues know so they don't try to check in again, and then they can pick up materials for their group, or their colleagues can come get the materials themselves. If you're volunteering in the computer check-in area, you'll be directing people to an available computer and instructing them to follow the prompts on the screen to complete their check-in. Mainly, you'll just oversee this process and give assistance when needed. During busy times, and that'll be mainly Thursday morning, and if the lines get long on Wednesday, we have a much quicker method of checking in. It's a link into our registration system. So if you're scheduled for computer check-in on Wednesday or volunteering really in any capacity on Thursday during that 7 to 8:30 time, be sure to have the link to our system bookmarked on your mobile device. It gives you administrative access into our system so you can complete the check-in for the attendees just by typing in just a couple letters of their name, and it'll find them. Super easy. I'll be around to get you started. But back to computer check-in. If you notice someone having difficulty, the easiest thing to do is just look them up with your phone, just like I talked about. If you find them, check them in, then they continue on to get their name tag. Using this method, you may find that they're already checked in, probably by a team member, and in this case, they're all set, and they should just continue to the name tag table. If you don't find them this way, you may ask if they're a substitute for someone, and if so, help them locate the name tag of that person, and then send them to the information desk to complete a registration information change form. Then they'll be checked in automatically, and they'll get their name tag and their own name. If you can't find them in the system, then they'll have to go to the information desk for assistance. But if all goes well, they will be checked in, and then they should go to the name tag table. At the name tag table, attendees will be looking for their name tag. The name tags are spread out on a display so the attendees can find them themselves for the most part. If you're volunteering in this area, you'll assist those who are having trouble locating their name tag, but mostly giving them a warm send-off to enjoy the conference. It's possible that the attendee may tell you their name tag is incorrect, and if that happens, direct them to the information desk to fill out that registration information change form, and then we'll print a new tag for them. Once they have their name tag, then they go to the materials table. If you're staffing the materials table, you'll be providing each person with a lanyard and a copy of the program book. This is a very good time to mention the app and ask if they downloaded it yet. Information on downloading the app is contained in the program book, and it's also another great opportunity to give a warm send-off. If anyone requests additional copies of the book, they should stop at the information desk at the end of the conference to see if there are any left. We'll have extra books and lanyards nearby so you can keep the table stocked. If you're working at the information desk, your role is to help attendees with any questions they may have. They may be asking general questions, but they may have been sent to the information desk because of an issue, or they may just be a walk-in and they need to register. This will be a very busy place Wednesday and early on Thursday. But once the conference is underway, things slow down significantly, and you'll mainly just get general questions. There's a manual at the information desk that should have all the answers you'll need, and the information desk is where I'll spend most of my time, so let me know when I can help. So let's delve into some of the frequent situations during that really busy time at the information desk, starting with those who are referred to the information desk because they were not able to check in. Use your mobile device to search for them in the registration system. Just type a couple letters of their last name to search, and if you find the attendee, check them in, and they'll be all set, and they can go to the name tag table. If they don't appear in the search, you can check on the master registration list for them, or ask Eileen or myself to look them up in the computer. If they're found at this point, note their name on a registration information change form and write registered and unable to check in the area with the checkboxes. They can then continue on to the name tag table. If they're not on the list or in the system, they will need to register. To register someone, have them complete the registration information change form and then direct them to one of the computers to register. Be sure to verify that the form is filled out completely and it's legible. Once they've registered and completed the form, let them know that they can pick up their name tag after the first breakout sessions are over. It'll be at the name tag table. Other situations that are handled similarly are substitutions and name tag changes. In both cases, we need to update our registration system with changes and issue the attendee a new name tag. So please have them complete the registration information change form, ensuring it's complete and legible, and then let them know we will print a new name tag and it can be picked up at the name tag table after the first breakout session is over. Someone may also come to the information desk to submit a payment. If paying by cash, check, or money order, accept the payment and verify the names of all attending that the payment is covering. Attach the names to the payment and give it to Eileen or Cheryl. You can provide a receipt to them if asked. If submitting a purchase order, verify that the names of the attendees are listed on the PO and file it in the designated area for later processing. Finally, if they're paying with a credit card, provide the credit card authorization form to complete and then verify that all information is there and that it's legible. And then the card will be processed after the conference and the receipt will be emailed to them. Just a couple of the general questions you may get at the information desk. You may get inquiries about continuing education credits or proof of attendance. Note that this conference does not provide any type of credits to attendees nor a certificate of attendance. They may need assistance in locating a session room or restrooms or an ATM, so be sure to familiarize yourself with the layout of the facility to prepare for staffing the information desk. If there are issues with Wi-Fi or the app, connect them with Doug or the technical assistance volunteers. You may get receipt requests. Note that receipts can only be provided for payments made via check or money order during the conference, and if asked about payment status, they should send an email to Cheryl and she'll reply after the conference. Be sure to review the forum reference book, and if you don't have an answer to a question, Cheryl or Eileen or myself can always assist you. The next role is Keynote Usher. Volunteering as an usher occurs before and during the Friday opening session and the Friday opening it occurs during the Friday opening session and the Friday opening session in the International Ballroom along with the overflow space in the Grand Ballroom. Friday closing session is held in the Grand Ballroom. 4 volunteers are assigned to the ballroom and 4 to the overflow room. So be sure to find the others who are volunteering with you so you can coordinate the duties. The main responsibility is to make sure that every seat is filled. Keep attendees moving to their seats, prevent groups from standing in doorways, and then close the doors when the session begins. If the room is full, direct attendees to the overflow space in the Grand Ballroom. Determine which of the group will be submitting the head count and then text the name of that person to me. And then after about 30 minutes into the session, work together to get that head count and then text the count and the room name to me. Some volunteers have the assignment of traffic control during the busy morning times on Thursday and Friday. Several are listed as ballroom and several as meals. Ballroom traffic control volunteers will be focused on directing attendees to the International Ballroom and the Grand Ballroom overflow space. The meals traffic volunteers will be directing attendees to the meals area, which is in Salon D on the lower level. Also directing attendees toward the ballroom area as they leave the meals area. Once on site, we'll let you know the optimal space to be located, but be sure to familiarize yourself with the layout of the hotel to prepare for this assignment. Special meal assistants will distribute specially arranged meals to people who pre-submitted dietary restrictions. This will occur Thursday morning. You'll have a list of those who are receiving the meals and you'll just check them off the list. There are half-hour assignments during the lunch break on Thursday to monitor equipment during the break. These occur on each of the floors where we have breakout rooms. On the second floor, be outside the Boulevard A, B, and C rooms. For the third floor, one person should be outside the group of rooms that includes the Willifords, and the other outside Joliet and Marquette. Finally, the lower level, station yourself outside the salon rooms. The lunch break is split into 2 segments, 1 to 1:30, 1:30 to 2, so you should still have plenty of time to get some lunch. Next is session facilitators. There are breakout session facilitators who are assigned to sessions occurring throughout Thursday and Friday, and there are roundtable discussion facilitators for the discussions on pre-selected topics that are held the last session of the day on Thursday. There are a couple of additional instructions for roundtable facilitators. So I'll start with breakout session facilitators and then point out what the additional steps are for the roundtable. As a facilitator, you should plan to arrive to the room a little early so the presenter is supported and ready, and also to meet up with the other volunteer you'll be working with. You can divide the responsibilities between the two of you. Each session room will have a wireless microphone and an LCD projector. Make sure the presenter is set with use of the equipment. In the past, there's been confusion with missing microphones, so be sure to look around under papers behind the screen if the microphone's not out in the open. Ask the presenter if they'd like a 10-minute warning or a 5-minute warning so you can indicate to them the end of the session is nearing, and also ask the presenter to leave a few minutes at the end of the session for the attendees to complete the session evaluation. It would be helpful to point out to the attendees that they can complete the session evaluation using the app by opening the session description and tapping on the link, or by using a QR code that will be shown on the slides, or maybe they could go to the PBIS.org forum materials page, and you can get to that through the materials icon on the app home screen. Monitor the door to minimize disruptions, try to use all seating available, and assist session participants in finding a seat in the room. If the room fills to capacity, please flip over the sign on the easel outside the door to display the session as full sign and then close the door. You may need to stand outside the closed door to notify attendees to select an alternate session. Please remember to flip the sign back over to display the session scheduled for your room at the conclusion of the session. Some presenters may have handouts to be passed out, but most will have submitted them to be accessed electronically in the app and at pbis.org, where they can be viewed and downloaded within the app. They can be accessed at the bottom of the session description or using the materials icon on the home screen. There's a link there to access them from the pbis.org website. 30 minutes after the session has started, count the number of attendees in your session and then text the session number and the count to me. The roundtable discussion sessions are formatted as facilitated discussions on pre-selected topics. The discussion leader has created guiding questions for the group. However, participants are encouraged to submit and ask questions. There'll be a large white envelope in the session room which contains note cards and extra pens that participants can use to submit questions or specific discussion points during the start of the session. Pass out the note cards to participants as they come into the room, and as the cards are completed, bring them to the discussion leader. To ensure the discussion leader has time to review the cards and plan the discussion, please bring the cards as they are completed rather than all at once. Everything else in these special sessions operates as discussed previously, including taking that head count and texting it to me 30 minutes after the session begins. Just a few more assignments to go, and the next one is pretty straightforward. It is float. You're assigned as a float when you're just filling in where needed. You'll be located at the information desk unless you are asked to fill in elsewhere, and you can prepare for this role by familiarizing yourself with the information desk responsibilities. Poster session setup assistance will help the poster session facilitator with the setup of the poster session. Some of the work will include unpacking the poster display boards and setting them up on the tables, helping presenters to find their display location, providing double-stick tape and pins and tacks to poster presenters, and answering questions and providing general assistance. Volunteer assistants will assist me. Prior to the start of the sessions, we'll ensure scheduled session facilitators are in place and briefly touch base with them to make sure they know how the session evaluations can be completed. We'll also be following up on missing session counts and noting that when rooms are full. Last but not least, our tech support assistants. This role will assist the tech support team with their work. You may be doing things such as bringing equipment to or removing equipment from breakout sessions, assisting and verifying the equipment's ready for use in time for a session start, helping to arrange tech support when problems arise, or providing assistance to the tech support team as needed. No worries if you don't consider yourself a techie, you'll be fine. You'll meet up with the tech support team at the information desk when it's time to volunteer. That covers all the assignments. We'll have instructions available at the orientation, and I'm happy to answer any questions then or clarifying anything beforehand as well. Just send me an email. So thank you once again, and I will see you Wednesday at 7 p.m. for the orientation, unless I see you before Wednesday when you're working or checking in. Take care and safe travels.